In today's video, I'm going to build a very dumb toy for my kitten. Basically a self-moving ball made with a DC vibrating motor from an old PS4 controller. And little spoiler, he absolutely hated it. So yeah, let's build it. A while ago, at a friend's house, I saw this automatic toy ball for cats. It was basically moving around on its own. And for some reason, I never forgot that thing. A couple of weeks ago, my family decided to adopt this little kitten. And since I wasn't ready to start the EMG project I mentioned in the last video, I decided to try recreating something similar in just one day. I didn't really plan this project that much. My entire idea was basically put a vibrating DC motor inside a ball and hope it moves. That's it. For the electronics I used a recycled LiPo battery, a charging module, a strip board, and later I also added a switch. And here you can also see the first project I ever made on this channel. I basically recreated the same battery support for this project too. Before soldering everything together, I wanted to check if the battery was still usable. 3.6 volts, good enough for this project. Usually, when these batteries drop too low, like under 2 volts, they're probably dead. Now it was finally time to solder the charging module onto the strip board. I also used some soldering paste to make the process easier. And honestly, my soldering iron is terrible. The tip literally falls off if I point it downward. Projects like these also remind me why designing proper PCBs is way better than using strip boards. But at the same time, I still think strip boards are a great step if you want to level up from breadboards. After that, I glued the switch right under the USB-C port, so the enclosure would only need one opening. Then I glued the battery onto this small 3D printed support and attached everything to the strip board. Next, I prepared all the wires for these connections. And yes, I had the genius idea of putting the switch directly on the battery line, which means the motor will also turn on while charging. After soldering the remaining wires, I tested the switch to make sure everything was working correctly. And luckily, it actually worked. Now it was time to attach the motor. I had absolutely no idea how to mount it properly, so I used the engineering method known as a lot of super glue. And then I waited. Luckily, the glue actually held the motor in place, so I soldered the final connections. And this was the result. The weird wobbling effect on camera is caused by the vibration syncing with the camera frame rate. But yeah, somehow it was working. After some time, it was finally enclosure time. I first printed a test hemisphere just to check the dimensions, and surprisingly everything fit pretty well. The size is identical to a tennis ball, 7 cm. A few hours later, the printer finished the first half of the sphere, so I cut the strip board and started assembling everything together. At this point, I technically could have just glued both halves together and called the project finished, but instead I decided to wait overnight for the first half to dry completely. And the next morning, luckily, nothing had fallen apart. So I glued on the final piece, and honestly, it actually looked like a real ball. And now the final test. Yeah, he definitely did not like that. Maybe the vibration was too aggressive for a little cat. Let me know in the comments if you think that's the reason. I had to pet him afterward to emotionally recover from this terrible project. And yeah, that was the project. Honestly, I'm still surprised it actually worked. But one thing I learned after doing all these DIY projects is that this is not how you should build things. This was more of an experiment than an actual properly designed project. I just wanted to see if I could make it work in one day. And somehow it did. But when projects succeed without planning, it's usually just luck. Anyway, subscribe if you want to see more DIY projects, and hopefully next Friday I'll come up with a better project.